Warren's video countdown.
I see why Uncle Curtis is always parked in his chair. I could get used to this, right?
Allen Payne tried to warn us about Tyler Perry, but we brushed it off. His sudden disappearance, that wasn't just burnout or bad luck. Behind the scenes, there were whispers, betrayal, secret blacklists, and a system that silenced anyone who stepped out of line. Now that lawsuits are stacking up, celebs are finally talking, and fans are connecting the dots. Allen's silence hits different. It don't feel like peace. It feels like a warning.
A lot has happened to me, for me, in those years. I shot a TV series with Tyler for 20 years.
If what Christian Keys, Monique, and Derek Dixon been saying is real, Allen might have been the first to spot the cracks in Tyler Perry's empire. Let's rewind. Early 90s. Allen Payne was that guy. Smooth, talented, unforgettable. Born July 7th, 1968 in Harlem, New York. No silver spoon, no industry hookups. His parents, Alan Roberts and Barbara Reeves, raised him with hustle and heart. He wanted to ball professionally, but when that didn't pan out, he went all in on acting. He trained hard at HB Studio in NYC, grinding through rejection like every hungry young actor. Then boom, at 22, he landed the role of Lance Rodman, Charmaine's boyfriend on The Cosby Show. He instantly became a fan favorite. From there, he popped up on Fresh Prince, Malcolm, and Eddie. But it was 1991's New Jack City that changed the game. Even sharing the screen with Wesley Snipes, Allen held his own. That performance, iconic. Through the 90s and early 2000s, Payne kept leveling up. Jason's Lyric, Vampire in Brooklyn, even music videos. He could play sweet, dark, funny. Whatever the role needed, he delivered. Hollywood saw him as both a heartthrob and a serious talent. Then came House of Payne. Cast as C.J. Payne, Allen became the soul of Tyler Perry's hit sitcom.
While he was asleep, Perry climbed into bed with him and tried to initiate. Dixon says he tried to distance himself from Perry, but he was offered a role on Perry's show, The Oval.
That role made him a household name again. The show ran for 8 seasons straight. It was a ratings beast. But suddenly, in 2012, he vanished. No press, no roles, no events, nothing. Like he evaporated overnight. People talked. Some claimed he just needed rest after years in the spotlight, but others said it got messy. One ex-crew member even claimed Allen walked off set during a heated rehearsal. Something wasn't adding up. Years passed. Then out of nowhere, 2018, Payne returned. House of Payne got revived, and so did CJ. Fans were hyped until they saw him. The smile was there, but something felt off. His vibe, muted. His energy, gone. Viewers said he seemed emotionally flat, like his spirit was worn down. Was it age? Was it peace? Or was it something darker? Something he couldn't say out loud. Allen's eyes, once full of fire, now looked tired, like he'd seen too much and couldn't talk about it. Whatever happened between him and the machine behind Tyler Perry's empire, it left a mark. And that silence might have been him screaming for help the only way he could, by walking away. Whispers started swirling about why Allen Payne really vanished, and why he came back looking so distant and shut off. A lot of the chatter led straight to one name: Tyler Perry. See, Perry built his empire around a tight inner circle. Actors he kept close, loyal, and always booked. People like Cassie Davis and LaVan Davis were in everything, front and center. But Allen, he never quite fit that mold. Even at the peak of House of Payne, Payne stayed off red carpets, skipped interviews, and kept quiet. While his co-stars praised Perry like a mentor, Payne kept his distance, and people noticed. Some chalked it up to being low-key. Others said it looked more like discomfort. But if you weren't in Perry's circle, some say you were frozen out, quietly replaced, forgotten. Fans started pointing at other actors who vanished after just one Tyler Perry gig, and the theory started growing. Payne's 6-year break only made it worse. One rumor claimed Payne didn't walk away by choice. A now-deleted post from someone who said they were on set claimed Allen had a heated clash with Perry, then walked off after refusing to go along with something he didn't agree with. That post spread like wildfire. Even without proof, people were hungry for answers. And then, things got dark. Fans began speculating that Perry's circle wasn't just about loyalty, it was about compliance. That anyone who didn't follow the quiet rules got shut out without warning. Allen Payne never confirmed anything, but he didn't have to. His silence said enough for some. Then came the bombshell. In 2024, Derek Dixon, known for Perry's shows The Oval and Ruthless, filed a $260 million lawsuit. He accused Perry of harassment, manipulation, and retaliation. This wasn't vague. Dixon laid out a timeline, starting in 2019, when Perry allegedly noticed him at an event, struck up a conversation, then gave him a small role. Classic mentor story, right? But it turned ugly fast. Dixon claimed that in 2020, Perry invited him to his Atlanta home. After drinking too much, he passed out in a guest room and woke up to Perry allegedly touching his thigh. But that wasn't the worst part. According to Dixon, the nightmare moment came in June 2021. While staying at a guest house on Perry's property, he says Perry walked in, pulled down his underwear, groped him, and said, "Relax and just let it happen." Dixon says he froze, tried to laugh it off. But inside, he was terrified. For years, he said he tried to survive in silence, afraid to lose everything. But by 2024, he was done. He filed a formal complaint and walked away from the Oval, calling the whole environment intolerable. The lawsuit didn't stop with Dixon. It named others, including Christian Keys. According to the filing, Perry's team allegedly harassed Keys too, and then paid him to keep quiet. That's when fans lost it. They started saying Christian's silence wasn't peaceful. It was purchased, and that changed everything. Perry's lawyer, Matthew Boyd, came out swinging, called it all a shakedown. But here's the thing. He didn't deny the text messages. He didn't deny the timeline. And he had no explanation for why multiple actors, across different years, were saying eerily similar things. At that point, people started looking back at Allen Payne's quiet exit and asking the one question nobody could shake. Was he the first to see the truth? And did he try to warn us before it all blew up? It wasn't just Allen Payne's absence that raised eyebrows. It was his entire time inside Tyler Perry's world. Behind the fame of New Jack City and the success of House of Payne was a man carrying pain that had nothing to do with acting. In one rare interview, Allen opened up, his voice low, raw, saying, "They deteriorated right in front of me. One by one, they were gone." He was talking about family. Chronic illnesses had taken over his loved ones, and he stood by helpless. That's when something in him snapped. He said, "I had to change my life, or I might be next." So he walked away, not just from Hollywood, but from that whole world. He turned to health, started small, cutting out meat, but that grew into full-blown transformation. Vegetarian, raw vegan, even diving into ancient healing practices. His journey wasn't just about the body. It was spiritual, deep. It's miraculous how God works, Payne later reflected. When you take responsibility for your healing, your belief increases. And as your belief grows, so does your life. He started speaking at wellness events, sharing what he once kept private. To fans, it finally made sense why he disappeared, but others weren't so sure. To them, this felt like more than just healing. It felt like a man escaping. Some whispered about emotional tension on the House of Payne set. One deleted post claimed he walked out of a rehearsal, angry, shaken, refusing to follow a certain direction. No hard proof, but the stories kept resurfacing. And when Payne returned in 2018, fans noticed something had shifted. His spark was dimmer. His charisma, still there, but buried under a quiet heaviness. The eyes told a story the script didn't. He looked like a man who'd survived something, but never spoke on it. So the question remained, What really made him leave? As he poured himself into faith and healing, the outside world grew louder. Why would someone vanish at the peak of his fame? And why did his comeback feel hollow? It started with whispers from people claiming to have been there. One alleged moment from the early 2010s said Allen stormed out during rehearsal, mid-argument with production. He didn't return for the rest of the day, and when he came back, that spark, the one fans loved, felt guarded, distant. That one story gave rise to something bigger, a theory that Payne didn't just quit, he might have seen something, maybe endured something, that he tried to speak out, and got shut down. Soon, fans speculated even wilder, saying Perry's tightly controlled empire may have offered Payne hush money, that maybe there was a sealed lawsuit tucked away somewhere, filed quietly under emotional distress or workplace misconduct. Some called it the hidden lawsuit myth. They pointed to the 6-year gap, the vibe shift, the blank stares in later interviews. It looked like someone who'd signed something that kept him silent. But here's the problem. There's no public record, no legal paper trail, no confirmed statement. Not from Payne, not from Perry's team, just shadows, whispers, and a man who stepped away from everything, right when he was shining the brightest. Some say Allen Payne's silence was survival, others think it was spiritual. A man of faith, maybe he chose not to clap back, not to expose anyone, but to just walk away and focus on healing. But still, the shift was obvious. When he returned to House of Payne in 2018, something was missing. His acting, still solid, but his spark, dimmed. In interviews, he spoke carefully, almost too carefully, like he was afraid of saying the wrong thing. He's still Allen Payne, one fan said, but he's not the same. It felt like Hollywood took something from him, and whatever it was, he wasn't ready to speak on it. Maybe he never will. But while Payne chose faith and silence, others started to talk. And their stories sounded all too familiar. The kind of stuff that turned whispers into lawsuits. One of the first to speak was actor Christian Keyes. Keyes wasn't just talented, he was connected.
That he showed up to my apartment and offered me $100 grand to take my clothes off. He said, "I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you naked."
Fans watched him rise through Black Hollywood, starring in Tyler Perry's plays, films, and TV shows since the early 2000s. But in late 2023, he went live on Instagram, and everything changed. He didn't drop names, but he didn't need to.
I didn't sell my soul or my... Excuse my French, y'all. I know some of y'all, hopefully y'all have no kids around, but I didn't sell nothing for success.
He described a powerful billionaire black producer who had allegedly harassed him for years, offering him $100,000 to strip, pursuing him after auditions, inviting him to private spots. And when he didn't give in, the energy shifted.
I started recording, so I have them offering me money to take my clothes off. I have recordings when I wasn't working with them or for them.
Cold, dismissive. He said it straight up. His career took a hit because he set boundaries. While others got fast-tracked for being compliant, Keyes said he had to take the long road because he refused to play along. And then he said the words that sent shockwaves. "I got receipts." This wasn't just venting, it was a warning, and social media exploded. Fans started asking the obvious. Who in Hollywood is a black billionaire that powerful and has worked closely with Christian Keyes? The internet only saw one name, Tyler Perry. Keyes never confirmed. In fact, weeks later, he tried to walk it back, said he wasn't trying to hurt anyone or mess up careers, but it was too late. That seed had already been planted. Then came June 2025, and the game flipped. Derek Dixon, another actor tied to Perry's shows, filed a $260 million lawsuit. But this time, he named Tyler Perry directly. Harassment, manipulation, fear, it was all in the documents. And buried in that lawsuit, Christian Keyes' name. The filing claimed that Tyler Perry Studios didn't just harm Dixon, it allegedly targeted others too, including Keyes. And it went further, saying paid Keyes off, compensated him, threatened him to stay silent. Fans were shook, suddenly. That Instagram live didn't look like a rant. It looked like a moment of truth, a cry for help before pressure forced him to shut it down. It raised a whole new question. Did Christian Keyes try to expose what was happening and get silenced before he could finish the story? If Tyler Perry really paid Christian Keyes to stay quiet, how many others never even got the chance to speak? Then there's Monique. Way before lawsuits started flying, she was already raising alarms. But instead of being heard, she got vilified. Her fallout with Perry, Oprah, and Lee Daniels is legendary now, but beneath the headlines lies a story of betrayal, financial sabotage, and broken trust that nearly wiped out her entire career. It all started in 2009 when she starred in Precious. She gave an Oscar-winning performance. But when she refused to do unpaid international press, something she wasn't contractually required to do, things turned ugly. Tyler Perry later admitted, "Yeah, I started the rumor she was difficult." And that rumor ruined her. According to Monique, Perry, Oprah, and Daniels worked behind the scenes to blackball her. Perry allegedly told execs she was a problem, then refused to correct the lie, even after admitting it in private. Before that, she was pulling in $2 to $3 million a year. After the fallout, nothing. A decade in exile. Tens of millions gone, just like that. And Perry? Silent. But the emotional damage cut even deeper. Monique said she confided in Oprah about her toxic family relationships, only for Oprah to turn around and invite her estranged parents onto her show. That wasn't just betrayal, it was calculated. When asked about it, Oprah offered the weakest excuse of an apology. "If I've done anything wrong, I apologize to Monique." That's not an apology, that's a PR tactic. And the worst moment? Monique said Perry pulled her into a private room during the Precious promo tour, surrounded by his staff. She brought her security with her. As soon as the door closed, his team allegedly scattered, like they'd seen this move before. She claims Perry pressured her to do press she wasn't being paid for, hinting at a future payday of $3 to $8 million. When she refused, he backed off, but later joined the smear campaign anyway. Even Reggie Wells, Oprah's own makeup artist, allegedly overheard Oprah saying she'd never pay Monique a dime, even though she earned it. Monique never asked for pity. What she's demanded is accountability. She wants Perry and Oprah to publicly say what they privately admitted, that they lied, that they hurt her, and that if they really want to fix it, they need to do it under the same spotlight that destroyed her name. But Perry says nothing. Oprah says nothing. And Monique? She's still talking. Because if they could do that to her, imagine who else they've done it to. Maybe that's why Allen Payne walked away. Maybe he saw the machine for what it really was, a system that punishes truth-tellers and rewards silence. Allen never named names, never pointed fingers. But his 6-year absence and careful comeback didn't go unnoticed, especially by fans who watched his journey. Because when you line up the stories, from Christian Keyes to Monique, a pattern shows up. Keyes hinted at harassment and manipulation, then went silent. Monique lost over a decade of work for standing her ground. Derek Dixon's lawsuit exposed a chilling cycle of abuse and fear. So, what about the ones we don't know about? Maybe Allen's decision to step back wasn't about self-care. Maybe it was about survival. And the most chilling part? The silence worked. Tyler Perry's empire keeps booming. His shows air. His name shines. And for every voice that dares to speak, there's a dozen more that never even make it to the mic. But still, the whispers won't stop. The stories won't stop. And maybe that's why Allen Payne's silence hit so hard. He never confirmed anything, but he didn't have to. His silence spoke volumes. It leaves us with a haunting question. If someone as respected as Allen Payne chose to vanish from the spotlight, what was he really escaping? And how many more stories, just like his, are still buried, waiting to be heard? We might never know the full truth, but the pattern's getting harder to ignore. Thanks for watching. If you felt this one, hit that like button, drop a comment, and make sure you subscribe for more. See y'all in the next one.